Hello everyone! Welcome to the second episode of Nights with Nieko. If this is your first time watching Nights with Nieko, it is a podcast that dives into deeper topics of conversation so that you guys can get to know me a little bit more. In the future, we will have guests on the show, but today it will just be me. So without further ado, let's get started. The first question of the day is, why are you so dense? This is a question a lot of you guys have been wanting an answer to since you've seen my clips. Usually of me not understanding perverted things from the internet, and today, I'm finally going to answer this question once and for all. I personally wasn't going to answer this question, but my manager slash editor Elfina wanted me to answer this question because she's tired of answering for me in the comments. The reason why I am slower than most is because I wasn't really exposed to a lot of things growing up. I am from a small town. My hometown is so small, you could even drive it across in 10 minutes. I wasn't exposed to the internet until I was maybe in the 6th grade because I lived in a strict household at the time. When I finally had access to my own computer years later, the things I looked up on my computer were usually just anime related or piano covers and tutorials. If I wasn't doing those things, I was usually playing video games and playing piano. I also played card games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. I didn't really go out much, and when I did go out, I would just skate with my cousins. I didn't have a lot of friends. The few friends I did have, we didn't really talk about girls or perverted topics. I guess you could say I just wasn't on that side of the internet, and I wasn't exposed to it until I became a VTuber. My manager Elfina scouted me because she saw potential in a dense small town boy like me. She thought introducing me to the weird side of the internet would be comedic gold in her eyes. I didn't understand her vision at first, until I saw how much joy and laughter it brought people. I never would have thought that my slowness would positively impact so many lives. So I embraced it, and was willing to learn all the things about the internet I didn't understand before. What we both didn't expect were all the people not believing it was true. Well, it honestly didn't bother me, but it did bother her. So I really am just answering this to make her feel better. All of our videos where I'm trying to learn something new are genuine and not scripted. Elfina chooses the clips and edits them. But yeah, I hope this answers your question. To explain a little bit more of, like in more detail, I used to live with my grandma when I was very young until a certain grade, and I lived in a very strict household. I had set meals, I wasn't allowed to have sweets, I didn't have the internet, I didn't have video games until like later on, until like middle school. Everything was super strict. Like I felt like I was a doll in the house, and I had set clothing for me to wear for school days, like you know those uniforms that people were forced to wear because of dress code. Yeah, I had to go to a prestigious school as a kid that was like paid for and everything. Yeah, it was really hard to live in those conditions, but I am grateful for it because I was able to learn proper table manners and certain mannerisms when being social and being respectful to like elderly and to like people in general. So I did learn a lot. It's just really makes me sad that people don't really understand me because they base off everything, you know, from like videos. But you know, it's fine. I feel like people are allowed to say things and assume things, that's on them. But you know, to hate someone that much because, you know, because it's like not considered normal, I don't think it's fair. I could say that basically because I lived in a strict household and a school that was very proper and prestigious, that none of those nasty things were exposed to me until I moved out of my grandma's house and then back with my parents. And then that's when everything changed for me, where I was able to eat the things I want, and you know, I was allowed the internet later on, and you know, was able to do things and go out whenever I want and have anything, I basically whatever wanted, as long as they can afford it. I don't want you to feel sad, guys. It's a chapter of my life where I don't regret or feel bad about what happened, because everything that happened back then was meant for something. And who knows, if I didn't go through that, maybe I wouldn't be here right now with you guys doing this. Well, I feel sad now. Guys, don't feel sad. I don't want you guys to feel bad for me. I'm just trying to let you guys know that this goes for anyone. That if you are in a place where it's not your most happiest of times, it will get better. It always does. I've been through it. I've been through a lot, and you guys have to trust me. It does get better. I think the scariest thing is not knowing who you are as a person. But it's not a race, guys. It takes time. I'm still figuring that out myself. I've sure learned a lot about myself, but heck, I don't even know like everything about myself. So if it means meeting all of us, you don't regret anything. Meeting you guys means so much more than anything that I've gone through in my past. So thank you. So the second question we have here is, are you a femboy? The term femboy is internet slang used to describe a male who presents or identifies as feminine. It combines the words feminine and boy, and typically refers to a young androgynous looking male who may dress in a style traditionally associated with women, such as wearing makeup, skirts, or dresses. Based on this definition, I want to say I identify as masculine. I may have feminine qualities due to growing up in a matriarchy. I grew up being very close to my mother and sister, and I still am to this day. Because of this, I may be more attuned with my feminine side compared to more masculine guys. But in my household, I was the predominant male figure in their lives who would help them around the house with all the heavy lifting and their cars if need be. But in the past few years, I educated myself on how to wear makeup for men. I'm inspired by K-pop idol makeup and fashion. My fashion icon at the moment is Hyunjin from Stray Kids. My closet is filled with only masculine clothes. I don't wear skirts or dresses. I'd say my fashion sense is a mix of preppy, like short hair Miyamura from Horimiya, and a lot of black clothes. Even though I'm above average of height, people say I look younger than my age quite often. I want to lean towards no on the question of me being a femboy, but I will leave that to you guys. How does that feel? Oh, to like when people say I look younger than I usually do? People tell me that I look 16 or 17 for some reason. It's crazy because people say to my mom, I hear stories from my mom that whenever she comes home from work, that her coworkers say that she looks like she's in her 20s, which is crazy. And my mom gets so giddy, man. It's so cute. She gets so giddy when her coworkers like compliment of how old she looks. It's funny. I love that. I guess we got the good genes, I guess. There's this thing, actually, I've read where it was in a book, I believe, where if you believe that you are always young, like if you believe you are always 18, your body will remember that you are always 18 and will stay 18. And like there's been like studies on this, and it's crazy. I don't know what other proof there was, but if you believe you are that age, you will stay that age, or you will age slower. Like I've heard this lady actually thought she was in her 20s her whole life. She's now 95, I believe, and she doesn't look like in her 20s, but because she believes that she is in her 20s, she looks like she's in her like late 30s or something. Like she looks good for a 95-year-old. It's crazy. Is that possible? I don't know though. Like it was a video I saw, and like she was doing an interview and everything, but I tried finding like the whole video because it was like a whole talk about it, but I couldn't find it. Maybe she's just healthy with good genes. Maybe she was blessed. That's lucky for her. So the next question we have is, do you have a streamer voice or a personality you channel when you go live? Is my voice fake, and do I have a streamer personality that is different from my offline one? I'd say the answer is kind of. To give some context, when I am offline, I am usually either relaxed, focused on creating clips, researching things to improve my streams, or just exhausted from a long day. During those times, I would say my voice is not as loud and pronounced as the one you're hearing now, because I am either relaxing alone or working alone. I am conserving my energy for the next time I go live, to give my all to people I can't wait to see every day. Although, I wasn't able to tap into that voice and personality which I can define as me at my best, until I became comfortable in my own skin and be myself. Because my voice, as you've seen in my old videos, wasn't always like this. It took a lot of getting used to and figuring out how I should speak to an audience. At first I was very shy to even speak in front of at least 10 people. And it still amazes me that I used to be like that. But it wasn't until I found people who accept me for who I am that I can finally not feel insecure about how I talk or present myself as a person. You could say the voice I have now is the voice I could have had potentially my whole life, but I just needed to be around the right people to bring this out of me. So thank you guys. How long did it take for you to get used to it? I would say, I started in September. I don't remember. I got used to it maybe around after a month and a half of listening to my voice. Yeah, I would say because I started streaming last September of 2022, and I know I was already used to it by December, but yeah, I'm pretty sure late November was around the time I got used to it. So maybe a month or two? Okay, question 4. What's something you wish you knew before becoming a content creator? VTubing honestly seems like a glamorous job. Watching other VTubers in their element, they make it look so easy. But once you're in it, especially when you just started, that's when the harsh realities of being one starts to set in. Here are a few things I wish I knew before becoming a VTuber. Consistency and patience is key. Building an audience and establishing a presence takes time and you won't see results right away. In fact, I started streaming in early September of 2022, and I didn't see results until July 2023, after my 2.0 model debut. However, between the time from when I started and when I became viral, I never stopped posting videos. I stayed consistent. You can't really predict when it will happen, but every single day I strived to be better than yesterday. Now I have been blessed with a wonderful community and I am extremely grateful for all the success I've had. But it's not just about creating content. It's also about building a strong community that supports you. Another thing I learned on my journey I wish I knew before I started is the importance of creating relationships and connections with your audience. It means a lot to me to have many people who are willing to spend time in their day to watch me and get to know me as a person beyond the content that you see posted on social media. So I do my best to keep my audience engaged and entertained. I try to keep things fresh and new for the watching experience. Through the quality of my streams is to show my appreciation for my supporters. So for all my fellow content creators out there, stay patient, stay resilient, and stay passionate, and never stop being grateful for those that stick around. The obstacles along the way really test how much you love what you do. So the 5th question we have is, what is your biggest fear of being a VTuber? What's my biggest fear as a VTuber? My biggest fear of being a VTuber is the idea of my community just poofing out of nowhere. I've had parts of my community come and go, and honestly, it still makes me sad till this day. I wish I could retain all my community members and remain friends, but I know that isn't how life works. People come and go, and that's why every day, I just show even more gratitude for the ones that stayed. But I would be devastated if one day all my supporters just disappeared. To all the ones who are still supporting me and plan to be here for the long run, I love you guys. Let's continue this adventure together. Yeah, it really makes me sad sometimes that I wish my whole community was still here, like everyone from way back in September, but that doesn't happen. I don't think I know any other VTuber or streamer where their old base, like from their first 10 viewers, are still here in their stream. Like, that doesn't happen. That doesn't work. But I guess you could say it's humble beginnings. But yeah, it was hard at first. When that happened, it goes in stages, I believe. I believe when you're growing as a content creator, it comes in stages, and eventually you get to a point where you're just used to it. it is sad, but I don't feel bad about like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? Could I have improved, you know, the way I gave them attention? Could I have, but no, that's not how it works, because it's not about them. It's about our community and me as a whole. That's what it's about. It's, you know, supporting each other and being here just to have a good time and support and, you know, love, show love and light. But yeah, we're all human at the end of the day, so I guess we live in and we learn, right? So the next question we have here is, what do you do when you are feeling sad? Ooh, this is a good question. What do I do when I'm feeling sad? When I'm feeling down, I try to find ways to uplift my mood. One thing I do is focus on positive things and uplifting activities like going for a walk or playing a video game I genuinely enjoy. Other times I'll listen to music or engage in creative tasks like drawing or playing piano to keep my mind off whatever is bothering me. Sometimes talking to someone, even if it's just chatting with a friend or family member, can make a big difference. Now, if I ever feel frustrated or mad, doing some form of exercise or workout also tends to boost my mood because it's like blowing off steam. But it's rare that I ever get mad. I also love running for long periods of time because the running high gets you out of your head and into the present. So if anyone out there is feeling sad today, immerse yourself in the things you love. But what do you guys do when you guys are feeling sad? Because some people listen to music, some people just vent, don't need advice. I cry and get it over with. Yeah, and that's people feel your feelings. That's a way to, you know, cope. I lay down. Yeah, see, everyone has distract myself music or water. I find comfort. I sleep or draw listening to music. Yeah, there's just so many things you can do to relax, and I think that's amazing. If I'm not doing it with the right intention of actually relaxing and just using it as a form of escapism, I don't think that's very healthy. So I just want to say that now when I do play a game I genuinely enjoy or actually go for a walk, I'm doing it with the intent to actually relax and feel better from being sad, not run away from any problems. I know it's easier said than done, right? Because you're in your feelings, you're in it, you can't really think straight, and your mind just goes in different, you know, directions or sometimes in circles, and you're just in a constant loop about thinking about like what's bad, and you're just so dead set on believing on that, and just doesn't help you if you just do the things you think you like and makes you relax and just use it as a form of escaping the problem. Sometimes facing what you're struggling with right then and there makes you feel better in the long run too. That's true. I like putting out the fire of the problem. The problem is the fire. I don't like lingering too much on a problem and moving on as quickly as possible, if that makes sense. But people work at different paces and people need to like talk, vent, and, you know, understand what's going on and why things happen. So I totally get it. Therapy is a great resource, and if it's available for you, yeah, guys, if you can afford therapy, by all means you should. But if you do try to find a therapist, make sure you take your time, because you're entrusting your health to this person. And some of you guys might not think mental health is very important, but it is. It really is very important. They say finding a therapist is similar to dating, right? And if you are dating your therapist, then you know you're killing two birds with one stone. Huh? I think. And don't feel pressure to stay with a therapist just because you feel committed. I made a mistake and it hurt my progress. Ooh, that's a good tip or note to say. Yeah, please don't feel bad if you feel that your therapist is not really helping you. Because I actually know someone like that too, Ariel, where I had a family member who went to therapy, but they thought they were so nice as a person, they didn't want to leave, but They also talked to me and vented that their problems were never fixed and it's not helping, and they feel like they want to move to a different therapist. So by all means, if you feel like your therapist is not going to work, it's not helping you at all with your mental health, then don't feel bad at all to leave. They're gonna understand because it is their job. I've been to just a few due to life. The only last one truly helped. I appreciate the others, but they weren't for me. Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know, there's so many different therapists out there, and they're human too. And I guess the human mind is very complex. Emotions are complex. Well, at least to me, in my opinion. I don't know what it is to you guys. But... Alright, next question. We have number 7. Are you considering creating an avatar for us in the future? Well. Am I considering creating an avatar for my community in the future? Actually, I do have something in the works that will come out later in the future for you. I can't say what it is, but it's a secret. I know you guys been wanting something like that for a while now, and trust me, there are so many things I want for you and give you. I want to give you guys so much. You don't even know. I want to share so many things with you. I have all these ideas in my mind, in my head, in my cranium, in my noggin that I want to share with you, but it takes time, it takes money, and it takes effort, it takes brain power. So we're a small team. We're trying. Your efforts are appreciated. Oh, thank you guys. So we have question 8. What are some of the things you do in order to keep yourself motivated when you're getting burnt out from work or life in general? When you pursue something you are passionate about, one thing you need to avoid is burnouts. Throughout my career, I have experienced burnout many times, but I've gotten better at managing it. I do feel that stepping away from work for a bit can do wonders. Not doing anything work related and just doing stuff you enjoy for at least a day really helps. During work, I avoid burnout by doing something fun with my community throughout the week. That's why I'm a variety streamer, because I like to keep it fun, not only for myself, but for my community too. I commend content creators out there who strictly do one thing because I would easily feel burnt out. I personally also like setting small goals for myself instead of big ones to avoid feeling overwhelmed. I personally also like setting small goals for myself instead of big ones to avoid feeling overwhelmed. Breaking down tasks into smaller manageable goals helps me regain a sense of accomplishment without feeling like it's too much for me to handle. So even though I am really passionate about becoming a successful VTuber, I still try to go at a reasonable pace for my own sake. Because to me, this isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Alright, so question 9. Would you rather eat a slimy worm, a seasoned rat, a crunchy cockroach, or a chewy fly? Would I rather... What? What kind of question is that? Would I rather eat a slimy worm, a seasoned rat, a crunchy cockroach, or a chewy fly? That's gross! Well, to start, a slimy worm sounds nasty because I'm not a fan of slimy textures, like eggplant, so I'm gonna give that a big no. As for the seasoned rat, I don't eat animals, and if I were to eat one, it wouldn't be a sewage animal. For the cockroach, I already assume it's crunchy because you can tell from the way it looks that it's crunchy. Finally, let me see. The chewy fly? If you think about it, if you had a bunch of chewy flies in a cup and you poured some milk tea over it, it's kind of like boba, no? And I love boba, so I'll go with the chewy fly. I'm so sorry for those of you who have boba right now, but I think the chewy fly would be my best pick. If I put flies in a boba cup and I poured milk tea over it and I showed it to you, you're gonna think it's boba. I'm sure it has more flavor because flies go on different types of food and you know, they stick their legs on there and you know, they may touch bread, maybe they touch pizza, you know. I would never trust you again after that. So you're getting extra flavor because the flies are touching the, oh wait, what if they go on the swirly caca? Okay, maybe not. I don't, never mind. And 3-course meal per fly, you're right. Don't worry, I'll mix it with like brown sugar so you can't even taste it. What if they make babies? You get more boba! If they made babies in a drink, you got more boba! Why not? I would eat it just on an actual one. You wouldn't even do it for me, guys? Really? You would eat a fly? If I made you fry boba, you guys wouldn't eat it for me? What if I begged on my knees? Wouldn't be the first time, so it's fine? What? Anything to support you, I guess? No, guys, please! No, I was joking! Don't actually try it. I would tease you maybe, but I wouldn't actually make you, guys. You actually think I'm that type of person to make you drink something so gross? Do it if Nieko begged? Oh my gosh, you guys are concerning! I'm getting boba later and this is ruining my appetite. No, it's actual boba. It's actually full-on tapioca balls, okay? It has a nice squishy texture. It bounces from your tongue and it's sweet, it's succulent, it's moist, just how you like it, okay? It's not a fly. All right, moving on. We have the next question. What do you fear, or what phobias do you have? I always get this question a lot, so I can finally answer this. I actually have 2 phobias. The first one being thalassophobia, and the second one being claustrophobia. The thought of being stranded in the middle of the ocean terrifies me. Don't get me wrong, I think the ocean or sea life in general is beautiful, but the thought of being in the deep ocean, not knowing what's beneath you, scares me. I think this stemmed from watching lots of animal documentaries as a kid about sea animals and the dangers of the ocean. Plus, I went on a boat ride before and I got seasick, so either way, I just don't like the thought of being in the ocean. My second phobia is claustrophobia. I have a fear of being confined in a tight space for too long or feeling constricted with a crowd. Whenever I'm around too many people, I get anxious and stressed about my surroundings. I've always been like this since I was little, and that's why I prefer to stay at home all the time. The exceptions are anime and video game conventions because the love for those things distracts me from the fear. On a side note, I would love to visit an amusement park one day, despite the fear, because it sounds fun. But what's your phobias? What are your fears, everyone? I want to know yours, because you now know mine. You have trypophobia. What's trypophobia? I've never heard of that before. I have megalophobia. I'm scared of being hated. Interesting. Is there a certain term for that? I have hemophobia, fear of veins. Ooh, really? What's scary about veins? Do you have the fear of a lot of holes? Me for a lot of holes? Not really. I don't think so. I think it looks fascinating. Like, when you see a wasp's nest and you see all those holes, I think it looks cool. Like, I'm like, wow, look at the structure. So amazing how they made that. Nasty? No, it's not. Think about it. They have a system. They made it so uniquely made where to a point it's like, wow, you can fit a perfectly snug egg into that hole. A nasty system. It's not nasty. Social phobia, social anxiety, cynophobia, the fear of dogs, really? Oh, that's a fun fact. I was actually afraid of dogs until early middle school. I didn't get over the fear of dogs until, yeah, early middle school days. Every time I saw a dog, I would be so afraid and I would run around like run away as fast as possible. But you know how I got over my fear of dogs actually? There's a story on this. So I was walking home from school. I took the bus and my home was about 5 blocks away. When I got to the last block, around the corner of my house, there was a dog, a little chihuahua, just in the corner. It was a brown chihuahua and it was chasing after me, and you know what it did? The first thing it did was it stared at me like this. And then I went around the corner and I'm like, good puppy, you're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna bite me, aren't you? And it just stared at me for like a good 10 seconds. And then after, you know what it did? And it started running around and I started crying, and I went around the block, and it kept following me the whole 2 blocks around my house or my neighborhood, and then I kept running in circles and it wouldn't stop, and I didn't know where their owners were, so I kept running in circles, and then I got to a point where I ran out of stamina, so I started like dragging my legs, and then I was like, wait, it's not gonna bite me. It just like kept barking. So I got back to the house of where it belonged, and it kept barking at my legs, and then I pet the dog, and then eventually it stopped barking, and then I think that's when I finally got over my fear of dogs. I guess that's when I realized that not all dogs are bad or trying to hurt me. Yeah, it just wants to play with you. Yeah, I figured that out later on. Philophobia, the fear of falling in love. Wait, that's a phobia? I've never heard of anyone having the fear. Wait, actually, I've heard of the fear of falling in love again, right? Because they had their heart broken way too many times, or they were in a very, you know, deep-ended relationship, and then like they broke it off, and then, you know, they're afraid of falling in love again. Nieko has a phobia of marrying chat. Yeah, that's called ratophobia. You should look it up. Pardon me? Oh, you are pardoned. I have never fallen in love. That's why, because of the fear of love or to date someone. Yeah, but why though? Because I've never heard anyone have the fear of falling in love. Is it because you're afraid of like the intimacy, or like holding hands or something, or like having a partner, or the idea of it, or like it's just I'm confused. Like, please make me aware. All of it? Interesting. It's because you're afraid of getting too attached, I think. But here's the thing. Wouldn't you only feel like that if it was from a past heartbreak? Like, I've never met anyone who would have a fear of falling in love if they never, you know, had a relationship or something. Maybe it's just shyness or nervousness. It's because I'm scared of the past things happening again. Oh, see? There we go. That makes sense. Fear of spiders, that is a normal one. There's a lot of people I know. Well, it's not normal. It's not normal to have a fear of spiders, but I know a lot of people who have a fear of spiders. I don't. Except the jumping spiders creep me out. The fuzzy ones. Okay, spiders that aren't furry, I don't get scared. But the ones that are kind of thick, you know, have a little thickness to them, and they have fuzzy wuzzies on them, and they have a weird colored pattern, those ones scare me so much. The fuzzy ones are so cute. You the cutes? They're not cutes. All right, so the next question we have is number 11. If you were to visit anywhere in the world for free, where would you go? If all expenses were paid, I would go to Switzerland, because for one, the flight there can be pretty expensive, and the second reason I'd visit Switzerland is for the amazing scenery. Even though I've never been there, I would sometimes have random dreams about like hiking in the mountains or enjoying the beautiful landscape. I know they have a really cool train scenic route they have over there, and they have a lot of activities, and they have this cool village where it's based off like a fairy tale, I believe. There's like a enchanted forest that they have an enchanted forest festival thing they do around this town, and it's super cute. It's like from an anime or something, or it looks like it's from an anime. So I want to definitely go to Switzerland for mainly to visit the town and go hiking, because I think it would be really fun just to go hiking there. Plus snow. I love the snow. But yeah, if you guys could pick a place, all expenses paid for, where would you guys go and why? I want to know. And try to pick something you haven't been to yet. All expenses paid college? That's fair. That's fair. Japan for food. Japan for food. A lot of Japan. Italy equals hot men equals me drooling. You like Italian men? I see. Ooh. Ooh la la. Seoul, South Korea, because of the fashion there and the food are amazing. Ooh. I would have said Japan, but I've already been there. And I'm pretty satisfied of what I've done over there. But I would go again. But if I had all expenses paid, I would go to a place I haven't been there before. If you guys ever go to Japan, I'm telling you, you won't see any trash on the ground, on the streets. Not one speck of trash. It's so clean there. But here's the problem though. If you go to a convenience store in Japan and you buy like snacks or something and you eat it, finding a trash can is like finding a needle in a haystack. It is so hard to find a public trash can over there. It is not easy. Like I had to hold my trash in my backpack until I got to my Airbnb. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So this one is number 12. If you could attend any concert of any artist you enjoy, what concert would you go to? Whose concert would it be? Good question. If I could attend a concert of any artist I enjoy, it would be YOASOBI. I remember I was in a very dark place a few years ago, and I guess you could say it was during a time of self-reflection and trying to improve myself as a person, mentally and physically. Their music was very unique at the time, and I would always listen to their songs whenever I would go out for a run, work, or even study in school. So yeah, I definitely would love to go to one of their concerts one day because they definitely helped me through some rough times. What concert would you guys go to if it was free for you? Or not even free, but like if you had the opportunity, like no matter like the travel distance or like the circumstances, what concert would you go to? Melanie Martinez, Isabel Cavetown, New Jeans, Ado. Ooh, that one's a good one. Mickey Mouse concert? Mickey Mouse concert, huh? Okay, I'll give you a Mickey Mouse concert in December. Just wait, just come to the karaoke stream. I'll give you a Mickey Mouse concert. You don't need to pay. Chopin, but he's long. Not Chopin! Yeah, and I want Bach as well. That's actually a fun fact. If I'm not listening to lo-fi and I get really bored of like every genre, I resort to classical music and I just listen to classical music while studying my homework or tests. Any Vocaloid or Ado concert? I want to go to an Ado concert as well. Her voice is so powerful. I love like her growls in her voice or whatever. So good. I don't go to concerts, but I'll go to Nieko's concert. You know what, if I ever held a concert, I would honestly feel so bad I would give you guys a refund. What about flute music? I've never heard about flute music. Like, it's just the flutes? Okay, you know the flutes that you have to the side? Like, you hold it to the side? The silver looking ones? I hear people who have kissable lips can play it very well. Like, you have to have a certain shape of lips to play it. Is that true? Like, it's called kissing lips. Yup. Okay, it is true then. I got kissable lips. Oh, so you could probably play, Natasha, the flutes. I want Nieko to kiss me, but it's France. Wait, what? The French kiss? The French kiss? Why did we get the French kiss? Nieko doesn't even have lips? What? You want plump lips? Kiss, but we're in France equals French kiss. Oh! Wait, is that how all French people kiss? Is that like their normal? You know how people give a peck on the lips? Is their peck on the lips French kiss? Ask Kraken. She's French? Kraken, is your normal kiss a French kiss? Like, you know how people give a peck on the cheek or something? Do you like slobber the cheek? Maybe I should ask Mr. Kraken. Maybe Mr. Kraken would answer. Why? I wanna know! I'd slobber you in a heartbeat. I'm telling Mr. Kraken on you! You can't say that! Mr. Kraken! Mr. Kraken! Guess what Mr. Kraken said? How dare you! You can't do that! Where's Mr. Kraken? No! Kraken, get your luscious plump lips like you claim to have. I think you said it, or was that someone else? Mr. Kraken is gonna join in. What? No! Absolutely not! Mr. Kraken approves, don't you worry, boyo. No. It's like having a dog lick your cheek. Wait, if French people were to kiss, like French kiss, as a normal kiss, then what's French kissing? Is there like a level 2 French kiss in France? Like, you know how we have, everyone else in the world have a normal kiss, and then there's French kissing, and we think that's like extra dirty kissing. So in France, what's extra dirty kissing? Do you guys like work out your tongue or something by normal French kissing? I feel like I could just imagine like a barbell doing reps with your tongue, but you guys are doing it with each other's tongue. And then like, wow, you guys probably have some buff tongues. They probably have pecs or abs or something. You know how you have a line on the middle of your tongue? You probably have like extra lines coming out that look like abs on your tongue. That's crazy. Yeah, you suck on the tongue equals French kissing version 2. Yeah. What is even your mind? I am fascinated. But think about it. It works. Like, I want a buff tongue. Wait, you were lying? He believed me? Wait, you were actually lying? You were joking? Oh, I thought you were telling me the truth or something. Let's get the training then. You guys could probably do push-ups with your tongue. Or tongue-ups. Shonen tongues. Yeah, it's not shoujo tongues, it's shonen tongues. Tongue breathing, first form. If you need a workout buddy for the tongue abs, let me know. Yeah, it's like Pilates, right? Everyone goes in a group and then we all like work out our tongues. Or abs, or you know what I mean. Yeah, you know how like people do Zumba together? But imagine doing that for your tongue. That'd be cool. Everyone work out their tongue. It'd be like going to school for it. A group? Yeah, like Zumba. Or yoga. Like with each other too. No. We'd be like doing push-ups on the floor. Like with our tongue. No, like with each other. That's so much consent being broken, or boundaries being broken. Alright, I think we should move on to the next topic. Are you considering changing your model up a bit? If yes, do you want a lot of changes or not much? And if it's not a secret, can you specify which and where? Oh my gosh, do I have something to tell you guys. So, you know how I'm an ice mage, right? I just thought of some cool lore ideas that where there's a certain element that I want to do, or a version of myself that's connected to my lore where I am a different element. And you guys have never heard of this element before because it's not known. It's like it's secret. It like has to do with history, and it's not fire. You guys will never guess it. I guarantee you not one of you will guess this because it's non-existent. It doesn't exist in, it's hard to explain. Light, and it's not light. Healing, it's not healing. Dark, it's not dark. Geo, it's not Geo. I can't tell you guys, it's a secret. But as for looks wise, You'll have to find out. I have to talk to Elfina because I never told Elfina this, but this came to mind like maybe a couple days ago, and I think it's pretty cool. For this lore idea I have. But I do want to change my hairstyle in the future. I already have a hairstyle that I want, and I do want to change the clothing. It's gonna be a lot different than you see. I can't say what it is because I want to keep it a secret. Scara hair? No! Not Scara hair! Absolutely not! Far from Scara hair. Scara bowl cut? It will look so fire. I will make sure the next model has hands, okay? The next model will have hands, because I don't have my hands. A wolf cut? Not saying anything. There are two people who I really want to work on this project, to do my model and also to rig my model. So hopefully they can be available, and hopefully I can afford it one day. It's a lot of money, and I don't want to give a number because it can range. It ranges in the thousands. You could buy a car, yes. The amount of money it costs for my dream model, but I will get it eventually, I know. I'm gonna save, but you can afford a car with it. Slowly but surely. But it's fine. I'm not trying to rush it because we still have a lot of projects we still need to finish. We still have the lore video, we still have the ASMR video, we still have other stuff I can't say. We still have merch. I still have to release merch, which, oh my gosh, guys, it's still currently being worked on, and everything's coming together very slowly, but surely. Hopefully I can make it before the deadline I have for myself. Alright, let's move topics. Next question. How did my first stream go? Oh my gosh, do I remember how my first stream went? All I remember was being really nervous and trying to figure out how to talk to people. Oh yes, I remember now. I had like 3 people watching me, and 2 of them I already knew. It was Wasabi and Elfina. They were watching me, and then I had my first viewer, which was T. Their name was Tea Keeper, and they came to the stream and they were a regular for months, and yeah, I was nervous. I was nervous to talk to one person I didn't know. It was so, and we were still setting up, I believe. I think we were still trying to figure out what works and where to place stuff, and they were like watching the whole chaos. They were like, what is going on? Yeah, I had technical difficulties the moment she followed. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember. And they said they said they were super sweet too. They were like, it's okay, I can wait. I'm like, oh, but they could have chosen anyone. They could have just clicked off, but they decided to stay. I'm like, oh my god, I'm sorry. Sorry. This is my first time streaming, so I really apologize. Thank you for waiting though. I can't believe I talk like that. Oh my gosh, that's so different. Yeah, I talked like that for like a good, what? How long was it? A month? No, it was like 2 weeks. I talked like that for like 2-3 weeks. Like, I would be so awkward playing Genshin. I'm like, okay guys, we need to farm commissions. I need to start building my Kachin. I wish they would give me Kachin constellations, but the game doesn't like me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I sounded like that. Now you're yelling while playing. I feel so comfortable when I just don't have a care about how I sound. Alright, next question. Let's move on. These are good questions. How'd you get into the hobby of drawing? I think this started with books, actually. Animal books. I used to draw animals before I started drawing anime characters. So I remember in elementary school, I would go to my library and find the coolest animal book I can find. I personally like drawing snakes because of the patterns, and I also like drawing eagles or any type of bird for some reason. I just like the way they look when they're like posing in the air. So I guess I got into drawing realistic things first before anime. And then eventually when I first saw like Pokemon or Naruto, I started drawing characters from that anime, and then I started drawing for people, and then my parents would, you know, hang it up on their fridge, but eventually I had to stop because they didn't want me to do it as a career, and I was honestly very interested in doing it as a career, but not anymore. They said now, well, my mom said now, if you choose to be an artist, I totally support you. But I know deep down inside she still wants me to be in the medical field, but I think she's just saying that to be, you know, courteous. But because they shut down that dream when I was little, I stopped drawing anime, or stopped drawing in general. And then I think when I started my VTuber journey, I started drawing again, and it was like rediscovering something that I've missed out on, and I'm so happy to rediscover and reopen that little kid self who had that dream of becoming an artist. I mean, I like drawing, but as of right now, it's not my passion. So if you guys think, oh, you should become an artist, no. I like drawing, but I believe I don't have the patience to do it for hours and hours and hours like some artists can. I wish I could draw like you people. Well, it just takes practice. It takes trial and error and learning. For me, I think you should just see what you like, what type of art style that you're into, and I wouldn't necessarily say to copy other people, but try figuring out what you like and what style you want to go through, and eventually create something original, you know? I think originality is spectacular. It's amazing. But for those of you who aren't very artistic, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with copying. As long as you give credit, right? As long as you give credit, if you are copying, I don't really appreciate people who claim other art as their own. It's not nice. Next question. What's your favorite food? Strawberry bingsu doesn't count. Why not? It's a food! It should count! What do you mean it doesn't count? It does count! You can't say it doesn't. So you mean ice is not a food? Condensed milk is not a food? Strawberry is not a food? It is a food. Is candy? No, it's not. You want to know my favorite food besides strawberry bingsu? Well, you'll never know. Us? No, not you guys. You guys aren't food. You guys are people. I can't tell you my favorite food because I like a lot of foods. I guess it depends. It depends on what I'm craving. I don't know if there is a favorite food because I'm not that picky with a lot of things. I like all kinds of cuisine out there. And I'm very open-minded to trying new foods. Like, I like Thai food, I like Italian food, I like Indian food, I like Chinese food, I like Filipino food, I like South American food, African food, oh my gosh, African food is so good. Mexican food, vegan food, like in general, French food, Japanese food. I love like so many different cultures, cuisines. I can't give you a favorite. I could probably give you a favorite for each, what's the word? This is the wrong word, but I could probably give you a favorite food for each genre. If that's, it's not the right, it's not music, but you know what I mean. You guys know what I meant. Culture, yes, culture. That's the word I was looking for. Hey guys, what genre are you? Stop! Do you like, did you ever try turkey food? What's turkey food? Like Thanksgiving food? Yes, I actually had stuffing for the first time 2 years ago. What genre are you, MILF? Jules! Have you tried curry? Yes, I like curry. I like green curry, red curry, yellow curry, all kinds. I think they meant food from Turkey. What's food from Turkey? Oh, the country! I thought you were talking about the bird. Vietnamese food? I love Vietnamese food. Oh, I've never had food from Turkey before. I would like to try different foods. If I had the opportunity to visit different countries and try their food, I would. Like, you know those food travelers? You know who I really like that I watch a lot? I like watching Mark Wiens. His smile on his face, his Eren Yeager smile lines just makes me so happy whenever he bites into something so yumptious. He makes me so happy. And he has such a blessed community. I actually watched the latest video I watched last night. I was actually watching a video last night when I was working on some stuff. I was watching him eat a pizza on a volcano. Like, they made the pizza like at the volcano, which is pretty cool. Imagine a collab with Mark Wiens. Oh my gosh, I would love to collab with Mark Wiens. And have him on the podcast. It's just a cutout of him, a cutout PNG of him right next to me, and then every time he talks, he lights up. Maybe I should, like, for funsies, email his business email and see if he's willing to go on a podcast and just talk through Discord. That would be funny. Okay, next question. How can you balance your daily life with VTubing? It's very hard. My whole life revolves around VTubing, and so trying to balance my daily needs like eating and doing chores and grocery shopping and just living, just like, it's really tiring at times. Like, sometimes, like, if I'm doing chores and doing everything I'm supposed to do, like cooking, cleaning, laundry, I'm thinking about work, of what I need to work on, and it's just like I'm never resting, and it sucks, but I love what I do. But how do I balance it? I try to plan the best I can, but I'm very thankful for my mods, because they've actually been helping out with giving me and, you know, Manager Son an itinerary where we take breaks and we don't think about any work at all. Yeah, and you know what's been helping out recently too is with the videos. We recently got a marketing team, and I have Alfina, Jules, Kraken, Luce helping me as much as they can with the subs, and then we also have people like doing the subtitles on YouTube, like adding it in for different languages. So I really appreciate to those who are doing that for me. It means so much. I know Bear is doing it. So thank you for those of you. And if you guys are interested in subbing the YouTube videos in your language, so if you speak a different language like German or Tagalog, or, you know, French, or, you know, just a different language that's not subtitled yet on YouTube, go ahead and we can get you on the team to help out with that if you want. Okay, next question. Out of all the nicknames that we give you, which one is the worst, and which one do you like best? Which one do I hate the most? Rat King, Scara, Worm, Bald, Wormy Ratty, Scara, Brat, P, Yucko, Moosh, Pookie Wookie. I always get that. Roach King. You know what? I hate the Rat King the most. I hate when you guys call me Rat King. Or, no, I don't hate. I think the worst one is when you call me Rat King. And The one I like the best is Weko Bejeko because it's cute. Because it sounds like a nickname. But the reason why I don't like you guys, or I think Rat King is the worst, is because I don't know if you guys know this, but when I say rats, I think rat is absolutely nasty, like sewage, like bottom of the barrel animal, like a dirty sewage, stinky, slimy, gross, smelly, wet, furry rats. I should tell you the origin of the rat story. So one time I was playing Overwatch, right? And I was waiting for a queue in the game. And I had a table similar to the one I have now. And it's a pretty big table. And I had my mouse on one hand and my keyboard on the other hand. And I heard this little noise, like a... And I'm like, what is that sound? And I thought it was just my family dog, like, eating something. I was like, huh, what's that sound? And then as the Overwatch game started, that sound effect where it goes chung, literally a rat ran across the table and jumped on my chest. And then I start freaking out and I start yelling and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a rat. And yeah, I freaked out. I jumped out of my chair and I screamed like a girl. And then my sister was like, what's wrong? And I'm like, there's a freaking rat. There's a freaking rat in my room and it jumped on me. How dare it touches me? How dare that nasty little sewage dirty rat touch my body? And then I was so mad because I couldn't catch it because I don't know where it went. And then it probably went some crack in the wall or something because we had a pretty old home, so I didn't know what to do. It was a viewer? Maybe it was foreshadowing for my future because it came from like, it felt like it came from the computer screen, like behind it. So in the middle of the night, that same rat that jumped on me was in the ceiling of my walls. You know how you guys, wait, is this foreshadowing when you guys say, I'm in your walls? Because I heard it in my walls. And it would make clickety clack sounds like it's running around. Wait, rat in your walls? And I couldn't sleep at night? And I would... There is no way! And because you attract rats, you're the Rat King? Oh no. You're attracting rats, that's why you're the Rat King? I am not a Rat King. It's all coming together. Yeah. Well, anyways, that's the end, guys. That's the end! I hope you guys loved episode 2 of Nights with Nieko. That concludes the end of stream. To be honest, I'm still nervous about it, and it's still all very new to me. So thank you guys for being patient while I get adjusted to this new segment. I can't wait to see you guys again for episode 3 of Nights with Nieko. We may or may not have a guest to help co-host the next podcast episode. You guys will just have to wait and see. But that wraps up today's episode. Thank you guys again so much for listening in. Be sure to follow all my socials, and I'll see you guys next time.